giant health epidemic here in the United States and to a lesser extent in the world. I mean, just look around. Everybody's sick. I mean, spend an afternoon at Home Depot or Walmart. It's like the walking wounded, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the average American, currently, this is June 2011, is on 11 prescription medicines. 11 prescription medicines. This is not because we have a bad gene. This is not because we've been cursed by God. It's because we are all unwittingly eating food that's hurting us because we've had no prudent, good, science-based, clinically verified counsel about what's good food and what's bad food. And most importantly, everybody in the United States is undernutrified, and here's why. My colleague, Dr. Wallach, from 70 to 82, was in charge of $25 million of federally funded research. His research unequivocally proved, this is not arguable, this is an academic fact, that the human body has 91 essential nutrients. There are 91 essential nutrients that must be imported into the body every day. 91. 60 of the 91 are minerals, things like calcium and phosphorus and silica, right? The problem with minerals is they're only found in one place. They're in the soil. Or sometimes they're in the water, but if they're in the water, they're there because they've washed into the water from the soil. The problem is there's no place in the United States, because of agricultural farming and also just because of Mother Nature's geology, that all 60 minerals exist. So this row of the cornfield, there might be 12 minerals. The next row, there might be 17. The next row, there might be 25. The corn only needs 6 to grow. The human body needs 60, 6-0. So if this is how much nutrition the human body needs to be healthy every day, this is how much that's in our food. And then the stress of life whittles away at our reserves and something breaks. And then we go to a medical doctor who gives us a prescription drug to manage the symptom. We go from bad to worse. We're going to hell in a handbasket here because we've let MDs drive the bus of medicine for the last 100 years.
And so the doctors, who, let's be fair, very, very often go into medicine with a desire to help people get well, don't even understand how much of what they're doing is harming their patient more than helping it.
Something's terribly wrong when you treat cancer, the most deadly disease, and your hair falls out and you regurgitate, you vomit. This is astounding. This is truly medieval. Many years from now, people look back at this time and wonder what kind of Neanderthals we were. We are.
Cancer isn't even the enemy. You find out that people in the United States and developed countries who are treated for cancer don't even die of cancer. They die of the treatment of cancer.
For many years, I didn't think that people knew what made them sick, what caused cancer, but I've since come to realize that they do understand about diet, the environment, toxins, even emotions in the mind. But it's just too hard for them to change, to become responsible and become proactive participants in changing their life.
We get greater toxic exposure from within our house than from without our house. So think about that. We get more toxic exposure by what we're cleaning our house with, what we're putting on ourselves, what we're spraying, what we're freshening the air with, what we are exposed to through the world of the EMFs, all the wireless devices, all the electrical devices, which is creating a condition called dirty electricity, which is impacting our body. There are things that we bring into our home that are outgassing chemicals. Our computers are outgassing PBDE, a flame retardant. They built it into the computers. When it heats up, it outgasses.
Who has not heard that fast food is highly toxic and 100% related to all degenerative diseases, lives either in a cave or is so numbed by all the toxins that they don't realize the danger anymore.
Everybody eats food. And none of us eat a perfect diet, and eventually it catches up with us.
You are what you eat. You eat junk, and your body is junk.
You know, literally everything in the center portion of the supermarket is almost all unhealthy.
All toxins like MSG, aspartame, food colorings, food preservatives, they are found all guilty of having devastating
Joins us
effects.
to talk
on
about
our
her
body.
newest book, Knockout, interviews with doctors who are curing cancer and how to prevent getting it in the first place. Suzanne, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kathleen. Nice to be here.
You've written a number of self-help books and have had a positive impact on so many lives as a result. Talk to us about why you wrote Knockout.
I wrote Knockout because I was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago, correctly, and I am cancer-free. But earlier this year, I was misdiagnosed with lung cancer that metastasized throughout my entire body. In fact, my oncologist said, I have never seen so much cancer. And he said, what we can do is we can start you on full-body chemotherapy today. And I looked at him and I said, just so you know where I'm coming from, I'd rather die. I would never take chemical poisoning. It's just not in my nature to do something like that. He said, well, then I think you should think about getting your things in order. And this was reconfirmed over 6 days in the hospital by 6 different doctors, all telling me that it was inoperable, incurable, and essentially hopeless. What I did hold on to, around day 3 or 4, I said to my husband, you know, I've been keeping a file on these doctors who are curing cancer, in most cases without drugs. If I can get out of this hospital, I want you to take me to one of them. So on the 6th day, when it turned out that they were horribly wrong, I was misdiagnosed, it was wrong, I had no cancer at all after looking death in the eye for 6 days, I thought rather than get mad, I'm going to interview these doctors in this file. And that's what I've done for the better part of this year, is talk to these doctors, interview them, and I would say to each of them, it's all well and good for you to tell me this, I need to talk to your patients. They opened up their patients to me. I talked to stage 4 lung cancer, liver cancer, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, brain tumors. All these people living these normal, healthy lives, having not been degraded by harsh chemicals, and I realized there is another way that none of us know about, and so that's what I've written about in Knockout. Other options that you probably don't know anything about.
Now you interviewed doctors and medical professionals using everything from alternative to integrative to conventional methods to combat cancer.
Right.
Among them was NewsmaxHealth.com contributor Dr. Blaylock, who you also interviewed for your book Breakthrough. Tell us
Love
why
him.
you revisited Dr. Blaylock and what insights did you feel that he would offer?
Oh, Dr. Blaylock is one of the brightest minds in the country. He's a oncologist, neurosurgeon for 22 years. Stopped surgery because he said he was opening brains, seeing cancer so rare in younger and younger people that he decided he had to devote the rest of his life to research to the effects of chemicals on the human brain and body. So he's a neuroscientist, and I go to him for information all the time. And one of the things that Dr. Blaylock told me that is absolutely shocking, so much so that I've hardly mentioned on television because I'm being so attacked for having the audacity to say that there are ways other than chemotherapy to deal with cancer. But he said, if I were a woman, I would never have a mammogram. And I said, what? He said, if a woman starts at age 40 with no cancer and has a mammogram every year, by the time she's 50, she will have increased her chances of getting breast cancer by 33 1/3%. He said also, the act of smashing the breast the way we do with, like in a panini machine with a mammogram, he said, if you have a tumor in there, he said, that very process of smashing can break the tumor and metastasize the cancer. He said, I said, well, what do we do if we can't have mammograms? He said, first you have an ultrasound, you have a thermogram if there's any hot spots, then you have an ultrasound, if there are any shadows, then you have an MRI. I said, well, we can't afford MRIs. He said, if the new gold standard became MRIs, he said, then they would be affordable. He said, because there's no radiation and you see a clearer picture in an MRI. He said, the cumulative effect of radiation from mammograms is actually giving women cancer, and no one wants us to.
I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer when I was 26 years old. I was rushed into surgery. I was told I would need 9 to 12 months of chemotherapy, but I refused chemotherapy, and instead I radically changed my diet and lifestyle. I basically overdosed on nutrition with tons of juicing and giant salads and fruit smoothies, tons of fruits and vegetables from the earth. Okay? So the first thing you need to understand about cancer is do not be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid. I know you probably are afraid. You're probably terrified because you think you're dying, but you're not, okay? Cancer is a very natural, normal process in the body. Everybody has cancer cells. We've all got them. The body is designed to recognize them and eliminate them when a cell mutates and becomes cancerous, okay? So that's a properly functioning body. So cancer is not the real problem. The lump or bump or lesion or whatever is typically not a real problem in your body. It's a problem, but it's not the problem, okay? The problem is that you are sick, that you have a systemic metabolic disease that is resulting in a tumor or tumors that are growing in your body, okay? So the tumor is the symptom. The tumor is not the real problem. If you cut the tumor off, your body's going to build another tumor, right? So when people have cancer, what is going on in their body? Well, cancer is a result of a body that is nutrient deficient and overloaded with toxins, and typically the result of a suppressed or overloaded immune system. So what is causing this? Well, we have the cancer death rate is has tripled in the last 100 years. And if you compare our lifestyle to the lifestyle of our ancestors 100 years ago, it's very different. And so what has changed? The food we're eating. We're eating all this processed man-made food that we were never designed to eat. Plain and simple, you've got to get back to foods that are coming straight out of the earth in their natural form, fruits and vegetables. The earth was created for us, and everything we need comes from the earth. It's such a simple concept. And you know what? Truth is simple. So what the problem is that we are overfed, but we're malnourished. We're stuffed, but we're starving. And we're getting plenty of protein, fat, and carbs, but we're not getting these valuable, critical micronutrients. That's vitamins, minerals, enzymes, antioxidants, and the thousands of phytonutrient compounds in fruits and vegetables, in plants, that support the body's ability to heal and function at optimal levels. So not only are we missing a lot of these nutrients in our daily diets, but we're also putting in all this artificial man-made food that our body doesn't know what to do with. We're polluting our bodies with artificial chemicals, flavors, colors, texture enhancers, artificial fats, fake food. And that stuff is poisoning us. Literally, you are poisoning and polluting your body with processed food, right? Cokes, sports drinks, fast food, microwave food, restaurant food, all this stuff has been altered, and it's loaded with processed sugar and salt and all that other stuff I mentioned before. So diet is number one. The second thing is your lifestyle. If you drink a lot, if you smoke a lot, and if you take drugs, especially pharmaceutical drugs, if you're taking one or more pharmaceutical drugs, those are immunosuppressant. Those are cancer promoting, okay? There's no pharmaceutical drug that is good for you. And your condition is not because you are lacking a pharmaceutical drug. So pharmaceutical drugs do not heal. They only mask and alleviate symptoms. The only way to true healing is through nutrition, to give your body all the building blocks that it needs to repair and regenerate. And the good news is that you can do that. Now, so your diet and your lifestyle are major factors. Drinking and smoking are cancer causers. Obesity is the second leading cause of cancer. If you're overweight, it is pro-cancerous. Your body is in a chronic state of inflammation, and it's overloaded and it's struggling. So that's a major cancer promoter. The third factor is lack of exercise. If you're not moving, if you compare yourself to our ancestors who moved constantly, most of them worked with their hands. They did physical labor, which is exercise. They ate fresh food that they grew, they got from a neighbor, or they swapped with a neighbor, they bartered, they ate livestock that they raised or their neighbor raised, so they ate fresh food from the earth versus today and all our processed food. So you've got to move your body. Exercise and movement is life. When you exercise, you're sending signals of life to your body to grow and to get stronger and to live. So you have to start exercising. And then the fourth factor is stress. Stress destroys your immune system. It suppresses your immune system, whether it's relationship stress, work stress, too much exercise, like extreme exercise, like marathon running and triathlon training. You can't overdo it. But all stress is immunosuppressant. And if there are people in your life that you've not forgiven, if you're harboring negative emotions like unforgiveness and bitterness and jealousy, and you're judgmental and critical of others, and you're always negative, you are in a chronic state of inflammation and stress. Your stress hormones are elevated, your cortisol and your adrenaline are elevated, and that is a pro-cancerous condition. Okay, so all four of those factors, your diet, your lifestyle choices, whether or not you exercise, and stress, that is how you get cancer, right? Those four factors either promote health or they promote disease, depending on your choices. Okay, but that's the key, because you have choices. You can turn your health around by changing the way you live your life. Okay, so don't let anyone rush you into surgery, chemo, or radiation. You have time. The majority of cancers are not life-threatening, and they're not emergency situations. In fact, the majority of people diagnosed with cancer feel fine. They have a lump or a bump or a lesion or something unusual on a scan, but other than that, they feel fine. They feel healthy, okay? So most doctors will even admit that you have some time. And if you would tell your doctor, I would really like to take some time to change my life. Can I have 30 days? Can I have 60 days? Can I have 90 days? And radically change your diet and lifestyle.